Hello, my name is Brian Dennis, and I'm the Bureau Chief of Business Engagement with Iowa Workforce Development. And today, I'm going to do a short demonstration of how to use the search job functions with IowaWORKS.gov. Before I begin, I want to thank each and every one of you for your time, patience, and hard work as we've transitioned from Teach Iowa over to Iowa Works. Also, as a reminder, Iowa Works is a system that all employers can post all their occupational options. As a result of that, it will function differently than Teach Iowa. But after today's demonstration, I hope you will feel more comfortable using the various options for searching for employment, whether you are a job seeker or an employer curious about how their jobs can be found and how they look using IowaWorks.gov. Everything that I'm going to demo today can be found by going to Iowa Works, scrolling to the bottom of the page, and accessing the search jobs functions. The first search I'm going to demonstrate to you is how to do a standard or keyword search using our system. The way we'll begin is by looking at one of the most useful and needed positions we have in our state, which is that of a teacher. So under the occupation, I'm going to list teacher. And then when it comes to the area in which I'm going to be looking for a job, we're going to choose Waterloo, Iowa. I hit search. And as you can see, because we're starting up by doing a keyword search, you see several options of the different occupations in which the word teacher can be found. These will always be listed from the most to the least as far as actual positions that are available in our system. As you can see, education, instruction, and library occupations are at the top. However, before we actually look at the results, I do want to draw your attention to an option of either to include or not include remote work positions. A remote work position in our system is a job that is either 100% remote, or many of us use the word virtual, or a hybrid position, which is partially on-site and partially working remotely. If you do not have this button clicked, it will only show on-site positions. As a result, while you see 72 jobs listed here, if you were to not include the remote work position, you may or may not get 72 results. However, for this demonstration, we're going to include the remote work positions. I choose the education, instruction, and library occupations. And as my search is complete, there is oftentimes a pop-up box regarding how to sort for relevance. To close this, you simply go to the close button, or you can choose to not see this notice again. I'm only going to close it. And now we see at the top of the screen, again, the results that we set for our initial search. So we have found 72 jobs that have the word teacher either as a word in the job description or the job title. We found 72 positions within 25 miles of Waterloo, Iowa. The 25 miles is the default radius that the system uses, and these results within the education, training, and library options. I suggest using as broad a search as possible at the beginning of your search, and then beginning to whittle down your results using the various filter options across the left-hand side of the screen. One of the first ways you can filter is by adding an additional keyword to the term teacher. And you can add this keyword at any point. And again, my suggestion would be to use some of the other filter options first before adding the additional keyword. Some common filter options that we have is you can change the distance from the 25 miles, which is the default, to larger, up to 100 miles, or more narrow, down to 5 miles, or exact. You can use job deduplication. This is defaulted as disabled. However, you can choose to enable this function. If you choose to enable this function, what will happen is the system will only show you one job option if they match based on the job title, the employer, and the location. So as you can see at the top, we've gone from having 72 jobs as our results down to 59. I'm going to change this back to disabled. We now have our 72 jobs available again, and we can continue to scroll. Here's where we see the work site options. Of those 72 jobs we have available, 7 are either hybrid or remote. I'm going to choose only the on-site positions. We now have 65 jobs available. And now we can begin to look at the various employers that are going to be represented in our search. For this function, I'm actually going to increase my screen size to show you how you can order your results. In the employer filter section, there's this blue link that lets you order your selections. The default is it will order the selections based on the number of options for every employer. So as you can see at the top, the Waterloo Community School District has 41 positions. I can also choose to filter the other way. So I can have them ordered from the fewest number of positions for any employer to the most. And if we scroll down, we now see that Waterloo is at the bottom. You have 2 more options. You can sort alphabetically from A to Z or Z to A. I'm going to return to the default, which is from the most opportunities per employer down to the fewest, and we see have the Waterloo Community School District. By clicking the box next to Waterloo, and I will reduce the size of my screen so we can see our results clearer. We now are only seeing the positions that are posted for the Waterloo Community School District. You also can have one more function, which is you can choose to sort based on when the job was posted. And I'm going to move this to the jobs that have been posted in the last month. So now what we are seeing is we have 10 positions that have been posted in the last month for the Waterloo Community School District. If you've now gotten your job search down to 10 options, this is probably a very usable number for an individual to scroll through. But if you did want to go a little bit smaller, this is a great time to add that additional keyword. Let's assume that I am a person seeking a position as a math teacher. If I add the keyword math, you now see it has brought in the one position that is showing for the Waterloo Community School District that is a math teacher. By clicking on the title of the position, you can go look at the rest of the job description, the rest of the information, and actually apply for the position. The way that it showed you is, again, our basic or standard keyword search. And you can see how the various filter options can be used once you've completed a search. But maybe you want to change some of those filter options before you actually start the search. And you can do that as well. I'm going to click home. Back to the same screen, but now instead of doing the keyword search here, we're going to click on additional search options. So when you pull up the additional search option, you have a variety of ways of doing searches. The 2 I'm going to show you today are the standard and the advanced. So let's start with changing some of the defaults when using our standard search when we run it. The first thing is we're going to start with the same search criteria, which we're going to look for a teacher position in Waterloo, Iowa. If I hit quick search here, it will do the same search I just showed you. But before we do that, let's add some additional search options. We still have the radius, which again is default at 25 miles. And you can see when the job was posted. So let's again change this to the last 30 days of the last month. The occupation group, we're going to set that again to education, instruction, and library options. And if we scroll down here, you can see there's a variety of options you have when it comes to the sources in which the jobs are pulled from. This is where you may decide you want to add a private job board. Because we know we're looking for an on-site position, we're going to deselect hybrid and remote, and now we're going to do our search. Again, you can close the relevance box. And now you can see instead of starting with 77 jobs, we're starting with 36 because we did some of that filtering at the beginning, but we also have some additional options that are going to be shown as well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to scroll all the way down near the bottom of the screen, and you're going to see the source. And you can see the various sources that are pulled to give us our 36 jobs. I'm going to just click the private job board. And by clicking the private job board, you will see positions pulled from those. And a common private job board that we pull from is SchoolSpring. By returning to the source area, I'm going to select all. We have the 36 jobs. And if we're still looking for employment with the Waterloo Community School District, we see 20 positions. The reason that we're seeing more positions is because we're pulling in from that additional source. We're going to see this, we're going to see additional jobs. And what you're probably going to see is jobs that are posted on from the private job boards, but the jobs we already pulled the previous search. I'm going to click on Waterloo Community School District. We now have 20 jobs. And again, I'm looking for the position for a math teacher. I'm going to type in math. And now we're pulling. And what you'll see here is that we're pulling the position from the Waterloo Community School District site as well as SchoolSpring. And again, by clicking on the name of the position, you can then go to the full description of the job as well as applying. You may decide that instead of pulling based on a particular job, you want to see the jobs listed for a very specific employer. Again, go into the home screen. And we're going to do another quick search. But again, instead of putting the job title, we're going to actually list the name of the employer. In this example, I'm going to use the Marshalltown Community School District. And because there's only one Marshalltown Community School District in the state of Iowa, I'm not going to list any geographic information. By hitting search, this brought me to the results for 77 jobs currently posted for Marshalltown Community School District. I have the same filter options that I had when I filtered looking for based on a job title. And if I wanted to filter down a little bit more, I could put an additional keyword. Here, I'm going to put the word music. Because I did that, it's pulled 2 jobs available with Marshalltown, the 5 through 6 general music teacher and the 5 through 8 vocal music teacher. Again, by clicking on the title, it will take me to where I can apply for the position. The examples that I just showed you were various ways of doing a standard search, but you may find that you may want to do an advanced search. The way you get the advanced search options, again, is to go to additional search options. And I'm going to demonstrate a couple features that you can utilize by going to your advanced options. And with this position, we're going to look for the job of principal. First, click Advanced. Once the advanced screen comes up, you're going to have a variety of options, and I'm going to show you 3 options that you can use when doing your search. First off, again, we're going to look for the position of principal, but also if you're curious, I'm going to show you how you can show jobs only using the Iowa Education Indicator. While you don't have to do this, this may be something that you're interested in using. The way we first utilize this search is go to Job Source Criteria. As you click here, you see there are multiple options that are defaulted. What you want to turn this list into is only having preferred employer clicked. You can either deselect one by one, or uncheck all, and put back preferred employer. Now you can see which preferred employer that you want to pull from. By clicking the preferred employer dropdown, you have a variety of options. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can choose the indicator for the Iowa education jobs and click that. Now we have one last thing to do if we're looking specifically for a principal, which is going to finding a particular job by going to the job occupation criteria. This should look familiar as we've shown this in another part of the demonstration. You have the occupation group, which we've used before, but instead of doing the occupation group, I'm going to look for a very specific occupation. By selecting specific occupation, this again is going to give you a keyword search option. So with this, I'm going to put the word principal. Now, principal can refer to several different types of jobs. So I'm going to show you how you can find the type of principal that we're looking for regarding education, which is we have to scroll down through the management occupations. I'm going to pause for a moment and explain why we have to search this way. Because Iowa Works is meant for all jobs, for all employers, we use ONET codes, which is the Department of Labor's sorting system for employment. So this is set at the federal level. Principals or administrators for education are found under management occupations, and I will enlarge my screen, where you can see we have education administrators, kindergarten through secondary, education administrators post-secondary, education and child care administrators for preschool daycare. We're going to select the kindergarten through secondary. Once we've made that selection and we've set up that we're going to pull positions only using the Iowa education indicator, we will select search. We now are showing 27 jobs that match that criteria. And at this point, we can scroll down and look at the various employers across the state that currently have a principal position open. It will always sort from the most to the least based on the default. And I'm going to click on Ankeny Christian Academy. By selecting Ankeny Christian Academy, I see they have an assistant elementary principal as well as a secondary principal. And again, by clicking on the job title, you can look at the full description and apply for the position. I hope this demonstration has shown you the variety of ways you can do a standard keyword search looking for positions or a more advanced structured search targeted for specific position. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to your local area business engagement consultant or BEC, who will love to help you when your employment search and filling your positions. Again, my name is Brian Dennis. I'm the Bureau Chief of the Business Engagement Division, and I hope you all have a very good day.